Keswick, and he's what's considered one of the acutes in the asylum, which means theoretically there's some hope for his recovery and through therapy, but we'll see.
I'm playing Scanlon, who's one of the loonies, and I think he's an acute, which means he can be redeemed or cured or helped, and I think he was committed for criminal behavior.
Yes, I'm playing, I think his first name is Anthony, but he's known as Martini. He was once a pilot in World War II. He's a fun, scurry little guy. Yeah, that's Martini. Yeah.
Well, I'm playing Dr. Spivey, a psychiatrist. He is a person who was a little bit nervous, has some little quirks. He likes smoking his pipe, and he's always fidgeting with his glasses for one reason or another. And even though he is in a position of authority, he kind of tends to let Nurse Ratched, I wouldn't say boss him around, but she's in charge, and he, yes ma'am, even though he has his own thoughts, maybe they'll come out.
Well, it's, I think, really important to pull from what's there, whether that is what your character says, what they talk about, and how other characters within the script either address your character or what they say about your character. So I think that's really important. And then, just kind of when there's room for interpretation or like you can play around with some things, that's really fun. You can just kind of come up with stuff. If it works, great. If it doesn't, the director will tell you.
Well, I was encouraged by, our director, Meg, to do that. And one of the things that she had us do was to come up with the first name, because it's not given. So I'm playing Kevin Scanlon. And that the other backstory, I guess, is created just by the language of the play that he speaks. He's obvious, he's a rough guy, not very bright.
I create a backstory for all the characters I portray. I first read what the playwright's description is. Then I create what his family history might be, starting with his or her, because I played a woman twice. Heritage could be what country the family is from, when they arrived here, what their profession is, their talents, their craftsmanship, when my character was born, what formatted his personality, his education, social encounters, his quirks, habits, his drive at his position, his temperament for his workplace and fellow co-workers.
Yeah, honestly, a real developed backstory isn't really part of my process. I mean, there's always something there, but I'm always more thinking about in the moment what I'm trying to do rather than the history behind what got me there. But maybe that's why I'm not a great actor.
Well, basically, this storyline: how free thought, individualism, and human rights are diminished, even eliminated. Yet, rules are meant to be obeyed, no matter where, no matter by whom.
That it was written by Ken Kesey, and just Ken Kesey, in this show, and sometimes a great notion, the novel he wrote. It's always a lot about the individual versus the institution on many levels. The other thing, there's a lot of themes. There's also the Native American theme that's going through this. There's the therapeutic community and the kind of neuropsychological treatments that were undertaken at that time, including electroshock therapy and lobotomy. There's a lot going on.
Cuckoo's Nest in general is just such a well-known show. Most everyone knows the movie. That Jack Nicholson, Louise Fletcher, Danny DeVito as Martini. You got a younger Lloyd. This particular show appeals to me because of the cast and crew that's in it. I was originally not in the original, in the original cast, but when the Maskers had to push back the performance dates due to the rise in the pandemic, some time commitment issues happened. So the director Meg Nickerson had, called me up, hey, can you be Martini in Cuckoo's Nest? And I'm like, hell yeah.
It's the only show on at the moment. No, I'm kidding, of course. This particular adaptation of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I hadn't even read it until recently. I saw the film many years ago, the Foreman film, which is a great film, of course, with Jack Nicholson, and everybody raves about his performance. And I do like the film, but I read the novel not long after that, and it's really not a very true adaptation of the novel, whereas Ken Kesey, who wrote the novel, really liked Dale Wasserman's adaptation of the work, and he hated Foreman. Foreman wasn't the screenwriter, but he hated Foreman's film. I don't think he ever even saw it. So I was always intrigued by the play version of it and how it explores more of the themes in the Kesey novel of just like the allegories to society and people having control over each other within these systems.
I think it communicates the ideals and the expressions and the nuances and the humanities in a unique way as an art form, and is something that can be done well in a community.
The thing about live theater is it's such a collaboration with everyone, and by everyone, obviously your cast members, your crew member, your director, everyone involved, but it's also with the audience. There's never a show where I haven't drawn off of the audience's reaction to what's going on, whether it's a a serious moment, a dramatic moment, that place to draw from is just, it's a fantastic feeling, and working with the people that I've worked with throughout my theater career, I've met some wonderfully fantastic people, and have become great friends with many of them.
Down, I've always just been attracted to storytelling in all its aspects, and I think live theater is probably the best synthesis of all the arts together. There was and I'll never remember which Greek philosopher it was, but Plato or Socrates or one of those who had an adage that I always liked about you can never step in the same river twice. And live theater is a lot like that. There's, it's not meant for cameras or other recording devices. It's a one moment, well, a series of moments that are captured that even if the actors are really good and reproduced scenes perfectly according to direction every night, it's still not the same performance. It's not the same time. It's not the same audience. So everything is different, even though it's the same material. There's no two performances that are ever the same, and I like that a lot.
Realism. There's no do-over. What you say is what is heard, or unsaid is comfortably noticed. Hearing. The audience laughter, the oohs and the ahs, and the applause.
Yes, please be an audience. Get out there and see a show. I highly recommend this one, but if not this one, see something somewhere. You need to support the arts so that they will continue to exist.
Appreciate your actors, directors, and their assistants, costumers, set designers, and builders, and volunteers. Support your local community theater. Become a patron. Donate your time behind the curtain. Know that these people actually love what they're doing, making personal time to rehearse, memorize their lines, remember their blocking, and giving their best to entertain you with the best performance you'll remember.
Look for the different themes in the play. It's fun. I mean, I didn't even mention the Christ theme, which is pretty strong throughout it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've gotten this a lot, but support live theater. I know that these are very trying times. A lot of places and activities have been devastated by the pandemic, and theater's no exception. But it's still happening, and in order for it to continue happening, we need an audience. So I guess this is more of a message to potential audience members. Come see the show. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to get a great show with great cast, great direction. It's going to be awesome. So come.